And we're live! Hello, everybody! Welcome to another episode of Vtuber Gaming Talk. I'm Denarius, the host of this show, and today we have a returning, one of the most recent returning guesses I had. This is kind of the first times I'm doing the returning guest things. I already technically did it last year for my birthday, but we are doing it like for real this time. We are doing a whole month dedicated to bring back old guesses for a round 2 or maybe 3 someday, who knows. And today we have Lamp coming back for a round 2. Would you like to reintroduce yourself?
I am a lucky lamp devil. My hands are a little wibbly today because I turned them on. I'm precisely what I say I am. I light up. See? I'm a one part lamp, one part devil. I stream pretty cozy games and JRPGs and play Picross every Saturday morning. It's a good time. That's a good time. And I make Vroids. I do Vroid work as well. So I made this all myself.
Man, I need to.
And I'm really glad to be here again. Thank you for having me.
Oh, no problem. The funny thing is, this show is end up teaching me a lot of people do actually really good work on Vroid. Like, I've one of the previous guesses, one of the more recent ones, Happy Pack, is also really good working with Vroid, just like you. And I need to introduce you. You someday. Someday I will.
I'll have to go check that out. We'll have to go see.
Well, yeah. Fair warning, if I sound low energy today, it's because I had very little sleep, and I just woke up. So that will be a reason why I'm kind of low. But outside of that, let's go to the main topic. Do you remember what we talked last time? Because I really don't.
Video games.
Outside of that's the main topic of here.
Yeah, I think we just discussed a lot of different games that we played and liked and what we were up to and things that we'd enjoyed in the past and stuff like that. I mean, that's a pretty good subject of discussion, usually. Yeah. But there's been more games since then, right? Like, all kinds of new releases.
What have you been playing lately, then?
Well, I picked up Final Fantasy 16 when it came out, and I played through most of it, and then I had to move house. I had to move house recently, and it just kind of threw my entire everything out of whack. I couldn't get back to some of the stuff I was doing. So, thankfully, I'm VTubing again, and I'm getting a little bit back on my usual schedule. Beyond that, I haven't really been able to afford any of the new games, but I've been seeing everybody else enjoying, like, Baldur's Gate 3 and Armored Core 6. Everybody's really enjoying that. Is there anything you're... Yeah, okay. Have you had a chance to play, or is there anything you're looking forward to?
There's a lot. Like, okay, so I mentioned this on Twitter before, but in the future I might be doing a little bit of a heads up of Game of the Year, because this year in particular has been really jam-packed with good games, like from the indie scene, from the AAA scene. Everywhere you see, every month at least had one big game, and this month in particular had 3.
Oh, jeez, yeah.
Baldur's Gate, Armored Core, and a little indie game that many people are talking and loving the living hell out of it, Cyberpunk Rush.
I've seen people going on about that one. I hear it's like a spiritual sequel to Jet Set Radio?
Yeah.
Would that be?
Yeah, it is. It kinda is,
cool.
Because it has even the original composer for the game.
Oh, yeah. There are so many good games. This is not just the problem of my Steam library is full of old games that I don't have time to play. Now there's new, spectacular games that we don't have time to play.
Honestly.
Modern gaming life. Fun.
Yeah, it do be like that. But that's what we get. This might be one of the most jam-packed years ever.
Yeah.
Like, in a long time.
Oh. There's gonna actually be competition when people are giving out video game awards at the end of the year. It's gonna be like hard.
That's why I wanted to make my own list, because I'm pretty sure I know who are going to appear on that Game of the Year list. Like, I have pretty good money on that. Some people will buy the entrance for that, but I don't know. Maybe this year is going to be actually fair, and they are going to, have
Yeah.
games that deserve to be there. Like, let's be real, AAA games, some of them really deserve to be there. Like, already this month alone, you have 2 contenders with Baldur's Gate and Armored Core 6.
Oh, just fabulous games.
Let's not talk about Capcom's really good outings with Resident Evil 4 Remake and fucking Street Fighter 6, because those two. Yeah.
There's something for everybody out right now. Just God.
Crossing my fingers to see Cyberpunk and Pizza Tower on the indie game premiation.
Pizza Tower, God. I really need to pick that up because I really want to play that.
It's really good. I'm already playing through it. It's actually really good.
Yeah. Oh God, I've fallen in a retro hole again because I can't really afford to buy anything new right now. So it's like, let's go through the stuff I have or the things that I previously enjoyed, and I've just been playing through like old RPGs and stuff, and that's been nice.
Yeah, that sounds fun. Oh, yeah. Speaking of old RPGs, I need to revisit Persona 4 at some point. Like, by my own. I am not streaming that. That's something I want to appreciate with all the time I have, like, for myself.
Oh, I feel ancient now, thinking Persona 4's not old. That came out. Oh shit, that came out a while back, didn't it? But I remember picking it up when it was new, and I still felt like it was like that was not that long ago. But that was at least 3 apartments ago.
Persona 4 on the Vita is kind of old at this point. Let's not talk about that. Persona 4.
Well, anything on the Vita is old at this point, so yeah, wow. That'd be it. Oh man.
Yeah, it would be like that.
There's something here. Oh yeah, I'm gonna.
Oh.
Alright, yeah, I'm fine.
Okay.
Technical stuff, it's like, because I moved, my entire, everything in my positioned in my office is different now too, and so my whole setup is not quite pointed in the same direction when I originally configured everything, so it's like, it's all gonna explode eventually. But
yeah, new office, new perspective, everything out of whack. But it takes a little bit of time just to adjust to, so I'm guessing you will be fine.
Yeah, new office, new perspective. I actually, please hold me to this. Anybody in the audience and you yourself, after stream's done, I need to finally move my extra desk around and move my printer out of the way and set up my space that's going to be my hand cam center.
Ooh.
So I can do hand cam streams.
Oh, hell yeah. What are you planning on doing first with that?
Sandwich. I'm going to make sandwiches.
Oh, hell yes. I'm in for that one.
I will get a bunch of sandwich ingredients, and I will have chat like bid or vote or something on what are we putting on the sandwich, and then I will eat it.
I'm going to bet a little bit of money saying your chat will ask you to make a sandwich from TF2. Like, they are just going to ask that.
The sandwich. We'll see. I would happily eat a sandwich. That's like a good classic. That's a good classic, and you need a lot of HP to get through streaming. I tell you what. So
honestly, yeah. A lot of HP and a little bit of stamina. Well, yeah.
A little bit of all of that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking, I'm gonna have a quick drink here.
Oh yeah, hydrate everyone.
Hydrate.
It's important.
Hydrate. It's important. Yeah.
What kind of games have you been able to play recently? With all the moving and stuff, I'm believing you have barely any time or setup to play any games like by your own. But in any case, what have you been experienced lately on that?
Man. I got back into Final Fantasy Legend, which is like really old, because I picked up the collection with the 3 games in it for the Switch, although it's on other platforms too. It's Final Fantasy Legend was for the Game Boy back in the day, and it was actually originally part of the Saga series. I don't know, people heard of maybe Saga Frontier, Saga Scarlet Graces, stuff like that. But basically, it's the RPGs that was designed by the guy who made Final Fantasy II for the Famicom, which is the weird one where you punch yourself and you gain stats, and it's nobody likes it, or at least if you like it, you've got really special tastes.
So I was wondering about that.
Yeah, Final Fantasy Legend is the game where you kill God with a chainsaw.
Ooh.
That one. Yeah, that one.
That actually
Yeah,
sounds really interesting. Like,
it is super interesting because it's very, very random. It's enormously random. You can have mutant characters, which they just gain their stats randomly after every battle, and their skills, they get like psychic magic skills, like attacks and different things, but those cycle randomly as well.
huh?
So you never really know what it is that you're going to be packing. You could gain an amazing skill and then immediately lose it. So it's like your adventure is full of ups and downs. And then you get monsters in your party. You can bring monsters with you. Monsters don't level up and they can't wear equipment. But by eating the meat after other monsters are killed, they change into different monsters. And there's this whole complicated system.
Like, they
Anyway.
kind of evolve by eating.
Yeah, they evolve by eating, and it's very inscrutable. And people have made guides and developed tools, but it's more fun just to wander around just eating things randomly to see what happens. So
I mean,
they're
that
they're
sounds fun as hell.
they're super fun. I've been streaming. And it's a relatively quick game once you know how to get through it. Once you know what you're doing. So I'm gonna be. I probably won't finish it. I'm gonna be streaming again next week, but I will get a decent way through it. So yeah, I've been streaming it just to show everybody. Look at this nonsense. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I know.
that sounds fun.
I've been.
I
I've been.
wanna try it. Like,
Oh.
the fact that I can control monsters and those monsters can evolve based on what they eat after a battle. That sounds fun. as
Yeah.
hell.
It's really neat. And like Final Fantasy Legend 2, the sequel is actually a much more refined version of that as well. I can get you hooked up with the proper games at any rate. So they're both great games. They're both worth trying. They are really fun experiences, but they're very, very old school and they hate you. They hate you, but they'll reward you if you stick with them. That kind of thing.
I mean,
I was playing the Etrian Odyssey remakes as well. That's what got me into, oh boy, old school grindy bullshit. Yeah.
there's always one or two games that you said I will not like this genre or this type of games. Like, you, for example, don't like turn-based RPGs. Then you discover one specific game that is a turn-based RPG that gets you into it, and then thanks to that game you can try the other ones because you now understand why the appeal is.
Yeah. Sometimes you just need to crack the code. Sometimes the right thing gets you. And okay. Like, I know some people had to play the right MMO to actually get MMOs. I know I still haven't found a shooter that's quite done it for me. Someday there will be. And I'll develop my reflexes and I'll be like doing headshots and shit. I don't know. Something like that.
You know, sometimes it's not the game, it's the people that gets you into it. Like, in my case, for example, I always said I'm not going to be good or not want to be good on first-person shooters because I have eye problems. Like, aiming for me, it's way too complicated. I have to be like attached to the monitor to do that. But then a group of friends said, "Hey, let's play Rainbow Six, the most accurate possible game for your aim." And let's play for 400 hours, why not? And lo and behold, I now can play first-person shooters without any issues. Like, I still suck, but I still, at least I kind of developed my aim a little bit, thanks to those guys who pushed me to play Rainbow Six. So, that works.
And, like, the more time you actually spend doing something, you're probably going to pick up some skill at it. And yeah, having your friends along to help you with that is definitely...
Step forward, yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
It is like, yeah. I've been trying to get as many of my friends as possible into joining me in Terraria, and I have moderate success. I've had moderate success. I know that. Well, I think right before stream, I put a Terraria song on the playlist. You're like, ooh.
Yeah.
We talked about it a little. We talked about it a little bit last time, and about like the other Starbound and stuff too. But I have designated myself the Terraria tutorializer. I'm going to take as many of my friends as possible, and I'm going to forcibly try to instruct them in how great Terraria is. Because you have to get over that initial hump, right?
I mean, survival games in general need that initial hump of like, hey, you want to play Minecraft? Hey, you want to play Terraria? Something like that is always needed. Like, yeah, you can play by yourself a game like Valheim, Terraria, or Minecraft, but you're going to get bored.
Oh,
little bit in. So you
it is.
need people to help you out. Plus,
It is so much
if you,
more fun with friends. Yeah.
plus if you like die on Terraria and lose your shit, you need someone to help you out get back those things.
Get it all together again, playing on harder. But
Mm.
yeah, friendship makes games fun. That reminds me, did I actually pick up Valheim? Do I have Valheim? I need to mess with that sometime. I feel like I mentioned it before, but Valheim's got like an add-on where you can throw a VRM model into it and run around in Valheim.
I need to actually get that because
Yeah.
I thought they were modding the living hell out of it so just to get the model. But if you have an add-on for that, I mean,
So there's something, I'll have to look at. I know you can do that with Raft as well. I've always wanted to get some friends together for Raft, because I do have that. It's like survival is fun with friends.
yeah, survival is always fun, or even more fun with friends. Sometimes there are people that really likes the survival aspect and they just go in alone. But the multiplayer aspect of survival games is what makes it even more fun for me at least. Like,
Well,
there is a reason why there was a few times that I marathon Terraria with some friends. Like we were playing from, like, let's say 12 p.m. to literally 12 a.m. to 12 a.m. So
yeah,
we were
yeah.
marathoning the living hell out of it.
Yeah. I've had the same thing. I got my husband into it finally. All I had to do was show him the initial ropes, and he was like, we played for like, I don't know how long it was, but we both realized it was ridiculously late. We had work in the morning. We both had to go to bed, but neither of us really wanted to stop because like it's a game. A lot of these survival games that reward you if you are the kind of person to make your own goals as you go. If you like go, oh, that thing is neat. I want to attain this particular item. Or it's like, oh, I can garden. I'm going to make the best garden. Or I want to build this kind of house. Or just some kind of personal goal, even if it's silly, is a lot to, you can build a lot of structure and a lot of fun around that. Because your friends will be like, oh, I hear you're going to be gardening. Here's some gardening stuff. Or here's some building supplies. Or here's a good spot. Or I'll defend you while you go and search for this thing. So, yeah.
Yeah,
Games.
it's addicting. That's what happens once you
Yeah.
get hooked into something. It's hard to tell the time because it
Yeah.
passes so fast. It's insane. Gotta love
Time
when that
flies when you're
happens.
having fun, as they say.
Mm.
So,
Also-
what have you been playing lately? If I may be so bold as to ask.
I mean, on stream, I've been playing a few games. I've of course got Street Fighter 6 on release because I really wanted that one. I could not sleep on that one because I really love the Street Fighter series in general, and this might be one of the most charming games you can get for fighting games. Like, if you want to get into fighting games, I cannot recommend Street Fighter 6 enough. Everybody from different communities are getting into this game, which is really interesting. Like Tekken, Guilty Gear, Under Knife, everybody on the FGC is getting into Street Fighter 6, and this only happened before with Dragon Ball Fighters. So this game, arguably for me, it's way better than Fighters. way better than Fighters.
Well, if it's got the appeal to that many different kinds of players, then it must be great. I'm not a fighting game player myself because I'm not super competitive. But I've always kind of loved the idea of fighting games because you've got these big, larger than life characters beating the shit out of each other.
Also,
that's great, right?
This game in particular introduces a single player mode for those who just want to play. Just want to play out, try out stuff. It's the World Tour. You get the character customization of the wazoo, and I love it.
Oh, I'm waiting to see. I think I should put that on my wish list and see if it goes on sale and I can grab that, because that doesn't sound like a huge priority on my gaming priority list of spending money. Games are expensive, my god. But I want to try that.
It's a AAA, so it's going to cost a pretty penny, but it's worth it. Plus, you don't need to worry about DLC characters, because if you complete the world tour to a certain point, you get access to their moves. So the DLC characters technically have like a trial version on World Tour that you can test out their moves, which is really good.
Cool. That's good to know.
So,
but yeah, they call it AAA gaming because you buy the games, look at your wallet, and go, eh.
Yeah, basically that. But yeah, outside of Street Fighter 6, a friend of mine insisted on me playing Okami, so I grabbed the HD version on Steam, which was on sale
nice.
at the time. And I just recently beat it. That game is so long. Like, at least for me, it felt like the drag at some points, but at the end was worth it. Like,
I think a lot of games from around that era tended to be pretty long, if I'm recalling correctly. More recently, it feels like some games are more willing to be like, okay, this is how much content we have. We're not going to drag it out that much. But like,
it's
sometimes
content.
like, it's like you're getting your money's worth here. We've given you a lot of game. Whether all this game is strictly necessary, well, that is up to you to decide. But
maybe it's just me, but I feel gaming lately is being like the game is huge, but it's missing some parts. I don't know. Like games like Baldur's Gate or Armored Core feel like they are super long games, like a hell of a long game for what you're paying for. So I think it makes it worth it, but I don't like that long of a game. That's kind of why I stick with kind of old games or retro or indies, because they are a little package of a game that it's enjoyable and it's short. But still, you have a lot of mileage if you want to complete it 100% or you want to go for the achievements. So that's that.
Yeah. Sometimes you want something short. Sometimes you want to luxuriate and soak in it, I guess.
I mean, it's a question of like, do I really want this, or do I want to save for another thing coming up? Like, for example, I really wanted Street Fighter 6, but I am now doubting because we have a new Yakuza game coming up later on the year, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to buy it.
I'm at least comforting myself with the fact that I still have all of the other Yakuza games to work my way through.
I got the Yakuza games on an offer, which is really cool. For the price of one, I bought 4, which is really good.
I bought all of mine except for Like a Dragon on various sales.
I need to pick up that one because I kind of want to play the whole series in one swoop. I already technically played through the series except for Like a Dragon, but I might stream Yakuza Kiwami coming up. Okami took a long time. I thought Okami will be kind of like a Crash Bandicoot game that you have 25 levels, you beat them all, and you move on. But Okami took longer, way longer than expected. Plus, I didn't have enough time to stream them. Like, I have at least 2 hours for the games each time I stream.
Yeah, that is the hardest part, is that as a streamer, it does have an impact upon your relationship with games. Because you feel that, well, maybe I could stream this and get a lot of content out of it and have some fun with my friends, but that will stretch out your play experience a lot longer than you might otherwise expect. And if you find yourself dragging somewhere along the middle of the way, it's like, oh, that is rough. So I'm trying to decide for myself what games I want to save for myself as offline ones, like to keep to myself, so to speak.
I've learned that the RPGs are my games to do that. Like, I'm going to save RPGs because, one, they are super jam-packed with story and side content that it's impossible to get it all in one stream, or unless you want to really slow down your pace on that.
Yeah, that's why I'm willing to play Final Fantasy Legend and like shorter ones like that. If I feel that I can get through it relatively quickly, I can play it in a few streams. We're done. We can maybe compile that into a video or something later. The people who are stopping by are not going to be bored or confused as to why I'm smack dab in the middle of some beepity boopity thing. But other than that, yeah, that's the hard bit about streaming RPGs, even if you really like them.
Unless you somehow know the RPG, like in my case, for example, I could play Persona 4 on stream, put it on easy, and just beat it easily, like going fast through it. But that's not a thing I could do on an RPG, because an RPG, it's something that you need to slowly enjoy the mechanics and the gimmick they have. Like, if you play Pokemon, you can speedrun it. You can speedrun it, but the thing on Pokemon is go on the wild, discover new species of Pokemon, catch them, and train them to see what they do in the future. You need to take your time and grind the Pokemon, and kind of bond with them in quote unquote. Like,
yeah. Like the premise of the Pokemon games is you're on a Pokemon journey. Why are you hurrying through your journey so fast? I mean, intellectually, speedruns are fun. It's great to see how you can break a game open, and I love to see people do demonstrations of weird stuff they can see or they're showing stuff off.
That
But
is.
that does remind me. I think I want to try to find a Pokemon game to stream and like do a Nuzlocke or something. I've never done that, and I miss playing Pokemon. I miss Pokemon. It's been so long since I've Pokemon.
Yeah, just pick your. I don't know if it will be the first Nuzlocke you will. It is the first Nuzlocke you will do?
For the first one, I would have streamed anyway.
Oh, you already did a Nuzlocke before.
On offline, yeah.
Oh, okay. So you're familiar with Nuzlocke. I just wanted
Yeah.
to. I just wanted to say, if you want to pick up a like an quote unquote easy to start Nuzlocke game, it's Pokemon Fire Red, according to
Fire Red,
people.
yeah. That's one of the most yeah. I don't know. I might want to do Emerald. I haven't done a run through Emerald in forever. I actually had Fire Red and Emerald and Leaf Green, all of those. I thrift stored them into my possession back in the day, and I've
Hell
still
yeah.
got them kicking around somewhere. So,
Might be worth checking it out. If you
although
haven't.
I have not revisited Diamond and Pearl in forever either. God, I
Ooh.
played the hell out of those. I played the hell out of those when those were new.
You have also the remakes of those if you want to try them out.
Yeah. So, lots of stuff to try. Lots of possibilities.
Was that this year or that was last year? That was last year, was it?
That was last year. I'm pretty sure. I still haven't even picked up. I haven't actually picked up the most recent Pokemon outing because I still am working my way through the previous one on the Switch. I think it hit at a time when I had other gaming stuff that I was doing. I didn't want to stream it, and so
Yeah, one thing led to another, and just no didn't catch it. But it's still it's a newer Pokemon game. It will be easy to find. It's not that big
Yeah.
a deal.
Yeah, the newer Pokemon games are nice about letting you catch up. I find they shower you with a lot of options and a lot of strength and all that. But Pokemon was never super hard to get through the actual main campaign, so to speak. The real nitty gritty is in the battling against other people. I used to do that for a while. That was fun. Just
Yeah.
raising Pokemon specifically to have weird combat moves and surprise people with it.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah.
You never expect the Jinx with metronome on the other
Oh.
team.
No. Oh, hydrating again over here.
Cheers.
Doing a lot of talking. Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
So let's
I should do the same.
refresh while we have the chance.
Yeah, I have a bottle of water. But yeah, it's weird to like see people on competitive Pokemon. At least for me, I never imagined there will be a competitive scene for this because it's an RPG. You will think you will get kind of broken stuff, and yeah, there is. That's why there's a tier specifically for broken Pokemon, like the Uber tier. So seeing competitive Pokemon with Pokemon that you never expect is always so good.
Yeah, it's interesting because the Pokemon games were originally designed around it's on the Game Boy and it takes advantage of the link cable, so multiplayer, competitive either trading or battling was always designed, but they didn't worry about balancing it. And as it went on, people got more serious and they had to start developing their own rules around whatever it was the Pokemon company was doing because like there wasn't necessarily things in sync there. And I don't know much currently about the relationship between the two, but I get the general concept of here's your tiers, we're fighting in these tiers, we're fighting in these here's our limitations. I did several rounds of tournaments in a friend group where we'd be like, okay, here's the rules, these are the mons you can use, these are the level ranges, here's what you're allowed to do, come at us. Or I've given you out each a baby Pokemon. You can have one baby Pokemon and one other to support it, and here's your doubles team or whatever.
Right.
Stuff like that. Gimmicks.
Gimmicks.
So
yeah. Tournament ruling for that sounds a lot of work. Like a lot of paperwork.
It does.
Like,
it does.
Do we do regular or double battles? Do we allow from this tier to this tier or this other tier to this other tier?
Yeah.
Do we level cap it at 50 or 100 or something like that? Because it's all a strategy, because even when the rules are set, you need to think, what moves do I have on these things? Do I need a move? Do I need a move teacher or not? Do I need HMs or TMs or something like that? It's just painful. Even
Yeah,
more on.
they've done a lot. Yeah, they've done a lot of things in recent years to make it easier to get your stuff trained up. I remember putting a lot of effort in hatching eggs and grinding things back in Diamond and Pearl days, and they give you some shortcuts these days. Some shortcuts.
Yeah.
Hold on here.
The system of the XP like candies you get every now and again on newer Pokemon games.
Yeah.
That's a system I can thank God exists now, because the grinding on old games is painful. Even more on some other games than you think. Like I always said this, and I cannot stress this enough. Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver has, I think, the most like grind of them all, because the level of the Pokemon you need for the Elite Four, I think it's around 50, 60, and the highest level you get on route, I'm talking about first time you go in for the Elite Four, it's 15. You need to grind on level 15 Pokemon to get your team on up to shape for the Elite Four, and it's painful.
It sounds like the kind of thing where they're stick with a few, grab a few favorites, don't spread that XP from trainer battles out. Maybe, I don't know. Ooh boy, oh boy.
It sounds like that. Like if you want to level up this thing, you might as well just do it on one shot.
Get some trades in or something to get the XP bonus. I don't know. Oh man, boy.
Yeah, it is painful, but it was a fun time, at least for the first run of the Elite Four. Because after you finish the Elite Four, you need to do it all over again.
Oh yeah, that was the fun of like Gold and Silver back in the day. They were such huge games.
Yeah,
like
two regions in one.
Like you actually you beat the game and you get to go back to the original region. It's a shrunken version of Kanto, but whoa, it seems so big and so amazing. It was just so cool. It was so cool. So yeah.
Also, use of assets.
Clever reuse of assets. I think it was. What was it? Was it? Did they get Satoru Iwata or someone else in? I think it was Satoru Iwata who came in and was like, "Here's how to compress your data so you can fit all this extra stuff in. There's enough room. I've stuck another Kanto in there. You're good. So there you go."
Maybe
something
it
like
was
that.
I'm not sure, honestly.
He was an amazing programmer. I remember he for the Commodore 64 back in the day. I'm older. I'm an older geek. I'm not much of a programmer anymore, but I used to have a Commodore 64 growing up, and I'd mess around with it a bit. I've been watching videos and stuff lately from old computer guys, and there was one from someone dissecting an old VIC-20 game, which is another Commodore computer, and Satoru Iwata was the programmer of it. That's why they hired him on. That's why Nintendo got him on board, because he knew how to program the processor that the Nintendo used, the Famicom used. Because it's like it uses a different processor than were used in a lot of other things. It's very specific programming. Anyway, blah blah blah. Really deep in the weeds, nerdy shit over here. Sorry about that.
I mean, no, it's fine. I mean, the Commodore, it's kind of important for gaming history now that you mention it. So it's important to know that. Also, a little bit of history on one of probably one of the most iconic CEOs in gaming history too.
Yeah, he's had quite the career and done quite a lot of things. There's a lot of fascinating stuff to find.
Yeah, I love hearing some stories from Iwata from other people. Like Sakurai released a video on his channel mentioning that Brawl almost never happened. And when it was announced on a presentation with the Wii, they were talking about making a new Smash Brothers after the presentation. So they just announced or they just used Smash Brothers as an example for the online capabilities of the Wii.
But they hadn't even started at that time? Oh.
They didn't even start development. It was on the talks barely. Like Iwata, after the presentation, I think it was on a hotel room, invited Sakurai to make the next Smash Brothers. At the time, Sakurai was also working on other commission games,
Oh,
so
right.
it was a tough spot. Um, Sakurai ended up asking, "What happens if I say no?" And Iwata said, "Well, most probably we need to handle this to another person because we need a Smash Brothers on the Wii." So what
Ah.
most likely is going to happen is they are going to just reuse everything from Melee, and that's it. They're just going to make a port.
So, and Sakurai was too proud. Well, we can't have that. We can't have that. I
Mm-hmm.
presume.
Yeah, Iwata personally approached Sakurai because he knew he's the only one capable of making Smash Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
also one interesting fact about the process of Smash Brothers: you think, since he works at Nintendo, he technically has access to every Nintendo IP there is, but that's kind of not the case. He needs to individually ask for permissions for the characters to every single creator of the character. Like, you need to go to the creator of The Legend of Zelda to ask permissions for Ganondorf, Zelda, and Link. You need to go to the creator of Wind Waker to ask for the Toon Link permissions and stuff like that. It's an interesting story because they respect so much the creators of the IPs to a point
Oh,
that they ask permissions for the usage of on other games and
mhm.
other stuff, which is really really good.
Yeah, Nintendo's an interesting company like that because they are so big on their legacy. Because well, it's in the nature of Japanese companies to keep employees on board. I mean, if you're earned way up and proven yourself, then you'll stay. They'll keep you there, and you'll keep working on things. But there are so many people who've been there since the very beginning that are still there, so they're there to ask. That's really
Yeah,
interesting. That's really interesting.
yeah, like the veterans are helping out the new people and vice versa in some cases.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's always so interesting to learn that.
It's like all the Nintendo history is really interesting. So much stuff tied up in that. Just like
Mm.
uh, there's I remember like obscure things. So Donkey Kong was the thing that really made Nintendo break out in the States and just in general everywhere. It was a really good game, but
Yeah,
there are people who theorize that it was originally intended to be a licensed game with a Popeye license.
yeah, I've heard that. Like
Yeah,
they
yeah.
they originally were planning on making Donkey Kong a Popeye game, and you can actually see it because of the designs of the characters resemble Popeye
Hmm.
characters. Like
Yeah,
Pauline
yeah.
is the girl from Popeye, Mario of course is Popeye, and Donkey Kong was Brutus.
Yeah.
So
But
yeah,
them switching around and still having the IP, then that's good. So they don't have to worry about it because they did make a Popeye game eventually, and I've only ever actually seen that on like pirate multicarts.
that
Oh, back in the day, back in the day.
yeah. Whew, then there is the I think it was the demo disc beginnings with floppy disk. Like I
Hmm.
remember they doing something with Doom that they will send out demos, free demos of like Doom, but
Yeah.
people will play those thinking, "Oh, this is the full game," and just not buy the full game because, well, the game was pretty much completed, quote unquote, for by
Hmm.
the users. So they think that that's a full game. You get the demo, it's a full game. But then, yeah, they ended up just
Yeah.
scrapping the idea of using floppy disks as promotional material.
Yeah. It's back in the day that the whole shareware promo, send your stuff around thing was kind of, well, it was an option. Like it's hard because like, oh, I know. I was a kid back in the day and I didn't have any money or any capacity to pay for things or buy stuff through the mail or any of that nonsense. So it was like you got your demo and you played the shit out of your demo. And that was that. And that was it. And that was all. Like the gaming goal that I was raised with, even my dad was the same. He was just cheap. He was just cheap, and he was not going to buy anything that he didn't have to. So it was like we're gonna just play the hell out of this demo. We're gonna get another demo afterwards. We're just gonna squeeze as much gaming value as we can out of these free things. So
Yeah. Also, the old school PlayStation gaming machines with
yeah,
the demo
yeah,
disc, I love those.
yeah.
Uh, I still remember I had two specific demo discs. I think one had if I what was the thing they had? I think they had a promo video for Crash 3, and I cannot remember what else. I remember one of them just having a Crash 3 demo, and I was just enjoying the living hell out of it.
Yeah.
Even after playing the actual game like Crash 3, you get the demo was really fun too. It was missing some sound effects, but that's final product type of shit. So that's that.
Well, in retrospect, that's what's kind of fun about the demo discs and things too. It's like, oh well, here's the previous version. Here's what they were working on before. Here's their previous ideas. So, it's part of a whole chain of history about the game.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of like previous versions of things, have you ever had the tried out a remake or a remaster of a specific retro game and thought, maybe the original version will be better to play than this one?
I want to say yes, because I have definitely felt that before, but I'm trying to think of a specific example.
Because I kind of have a specific example. Going back to Crash Bandicoot 3. Because...
yeah.
Because on the Insane Trilogy, Crash Bandicoot 3 has a little bit of a problem with some of the vehicle levels.
Yeah.
That the controls are a little bit, rough around the edges.
Yeah.
And
I remember...
It's
I remember.
yeah.
I remember hearing that the Insane Trilogy, some of the trouble was that they ported levels, but the engine was different and it doesn't play quite the same.
I mean, for Crash 1 and 2, I didn't feel at all. I didn't feel bad at all. It was fine. It was playable and it was enjoyable, which is the main point of those two games. Specifically Crash 1. Because Crash 1 is the most basic one. It's just jump, spin, and just move. Crash 2 added the slide and the jump, which it's still basic. Like you still don't know, you still don't run, you still don't have weapons, and there is very few vehicle levels. Like you have the jetpack and that's it. And even then, the jetpack on the original was clunky to control, so it's kind of the same here. But in Crash 3, you had all these vehicle levels and the power-up systems, and the vehicles are the ones who suffer the most because the engine, at least for my experience, it's made specifically for platforming levels. At least as my experience tells, the vehicle levels outside of the bike works really fine because, well, it works like the hog on Crash 1. It's still usable, and you need to accelerate, which is the only difference between the hog and the bike. But on the other vehicles, like the water ski bike, on some Coco levels, yeah, that's finicky to control because of the slippery of the actual vehicle and the precision of it.
I see.
Like there is people that were trying to get the for example the time relics. The specific platinum or gold relics are kind of impossible, or they are really tough because of that. Because you need to precisely move between bombs, and you don't have the wonky in between the wonky hitbox, the physics of the water, and the physics of the controls itself of the jet ski. It's hard to control. It's really hard to control. That's why people preferred going for the original, since one, it has time relics anyway because it's the original Crash Bandicoot 3 that those were introduced in that game, and they're part of the completion requirements that you have. And Crash Bandicoot 1 and 2 and Insane Trilogy have relics now, but they are not built for speeded by. You can speedrun it in a stage. Hell, in Crash 2, there are some stages that are really short because they have other paths you can follow to get the extra boxes you need for the gem. But you can finish those in basically a jiffy because they are just one point to the end as fast as possible. So another way to experience the game, which is cool. But when it comes to it's better playing the original to the remake. It's, at least for me, Crash 3.
I'll keep that in mind if either of those cross my path. Uh, yeah, 'cause I've heard things about that version. Thinking on it, one of the games that I would rather play one of the originals than the remake. Well, there's been a few remakes. It's Final Fantasy V. Like, because it's been remade quite a few times, but the mobile version in particular that was then ported to Steam for the longest time before the Pixel remasters, uh, it controlled a little funny. The sprites looked all weird, but underneath the hood, some of the really obscure mechanics and some of the bugs that were useful to exploit, they either fixed them or made them worse. So,
Oh.
doing challenge runs would not work the same way. And I
Oh.
like to do, yeah. And I really like Final Fantasy V a lot, and I've done like the four job challenge runs and other class limit challenge runs and stuff that are really fun. So
Oh.
I'd rather play on the Game Boy Advance version if I have my choice. Although I want to try to do a run on the Pixel remaster, but that too has been broken down for, well, what bugs did they change and what bugs did they not change?
Yeah,
Because
there's some stuff that is useful.
because
uh,
there's like some challenges. If you don't have all the right kinds of classes, if you don't have certain spells or certain skills, then you've got to sort of cheat or glitch or just like finagle your way around it. And some methods of doing that are eliminated by some bug changes, and it's like so.
damn it.
Yeah, older versions can offer you more options. Like even the oldest version, back on the Super Famicom one, that one even then has some bugs that aren't in the Game Boy Advance that you can take advantage of depending on your party setups. Where if you have a berserker and a certain set of equipment, you can underflow your strength stat so it's ridiculously huge. Or yeah, so
Yeah, it's a mess.
like I don't mind when single player games are super duper broken. Final Fantasy V was partway through development. I think they recognized, wow, this is super duper broken.
I mean,
Should we take it out? Nah, this is great. This is fun. We keep it in.
I mean, that's the thing. If you have a single player game, break the living fuck out of it because people will
Yeah.
enjoy exploiting that's the thing. You're a fantasy. You're playing alone, right? So
Yeah.
balancing should be a priority, yes. But to a point, you need to let the player get loose. Like reward the player making the character broken. That's why roguelikes are so good. Because at the beginning, yeah, the enemies are tough and technically you are grounded. You're balanced. But as you go on the game and you know what you're doing, you get more broken stuff and you ended up just deleting everything to a point. It's
Reward cleverness, but also provide extra challenges for those who have been very clever. Because it's also, if you make it that it's relatively easy to break things or make the game have lots of different ways to solve problems, you are ensuring that more of your players will actually make it through. Like,
right.
You've heard back in the day of poor kids like playing RPGs for the first time and not knowing to equip items or use potions or any of that stuff. It's like, this game sucks. I keep dying. It's like, well, did you read any of the instructions? No. Okay. Well, fine.
All right. I'm going to hide a little bit of lamb real quick because the music stopped. Give me a moment.
Okay.
There we go. Dragon Quest.
There we go. Started over again. But yeah, we're coming up on about an hour, aren't we?
We still have a few minutes.
Sometime, yeah.
So Final Fantasy and the Game Boy. That reminds me of a little game that I don't know if it got ported or remastered or something. I need to check it out because I actually enjoyed Final Fantasy Tactics on the Game Boy Advance.
Oh yeah. That was really good. I played the hell out of that. I had that even for the Game Boy Advance, and I would take that as my play while waiting for the bus to go to work and come home. Good game.
I wonder if they re-release it or something to that specific game.
That would be nice. I keep hearing, or I think they're going to do a proper re-release of like Final Fantasy Tactics for PlayStation, but the Advance, I don't know if they've got any plans. Like, it's such a good game. Like, maybe they eventually do a bundle with like Advance 1 and Advance 2, because they did one for that and one for the. Was it for the Game Boy Advance as well, or was it for the DS? I forget. But yeah, They were
I
they were
didn't know
very
there
good.
was a
They were
PS.
very good mechanical refinements of the stuff that was happening in the tactics games. Super
Ah,
fun to play.
I didn't know they released a PS1 version.
Yeah, like
Oh.
Final Fantasy Tactics, the original Final Fantasy Tactics was for the PlayStation. And it had
Oh.
like it had like a big wonky it had a kind of a wonky translation, but it was like it was one of the big things back in the day.
I
And
mean, yeah, the 90s translation wise was wonky as hell.
they tried their best, they did, with the time that they were given and the stuff they were provided. I think like Final Fantasy VIII's entire script was given to the localizers in like an Excel sheet. How about it, guys? There you go. Context? Fuck you. We don't need that.
Oh
So
god. Yeah, the old days of having Excel sheets for translation
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. There are better tools and better systems available now, but oh boy.
Yeah, those were the times.
Mm-hmm.
Even more because the most of the most successful games were from Japan, so you needed those
Mm-hmm.
translations.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Whew. But yeah, that happens. That happens. It's normal. And nowadays, thank God, we have better tools for doing that. Like we don't
Yeah.
have an Excel sheet anymore. We can do it on Word or in a PDF. That's. Whew, thank God.
There's custom software designed for keeping these things tracked, databases. There's also more of a willingness to like here's scripts, here's context. You might be able to even talk with the actual developers, have a quick word to clarify some things, so you're not like mistranslating the mythological references or whatever. It's a difficult process. It's game companies are more willing to put the extra effort in for a game that's high enough profile because they know if the translation sucks, they're going to get made fun of.
Yeah.
So it's the economic impact, at least. Yeah.
Not only the text translation, but the voice acting sometimes
Mm.
is golden from that era.
Yeah. Ah, yeah.
I
This
can
it,
stop.
it was a pioneering a new field. We've never done this before. We don't know how to do it right yet.
Man, I love always pointing out the old Yakuza 1 and 2 for the PS2 dub. Oh, that was awesome. just hearing the fucking Joker as Majima is just the best.
Hey.
Oh.
Games.
Yeah. What else? What else? Oh yeah, by any chance, have you been playing Final Fantasy 14 lately?
Yes, I have. Not as much as intensely as I used to, but I'm still subscribed and I still log in to do my dailies and sell things on the market board and do the events. How
Yeah,
about you?
I honestly didn't hop on into any MMOs. I've been
Okay.
tempted to jump into The Elder Scrolls Online because they give
Ah,
it away. Like
they do. They do.
they give it away on Epic Games, so I've been willing to try it out.
It's not too bad. I've a friend of mine convinced me to come play with them and picked me up one of the expansion packs or something, and it's pretty all right. There's a lot you can putter around and do. It's a lot of fun. Just that other games have taken priority on my radar. There's interesting questing. The combat is interesting so far from what I've seen. If you have more time to mess around in it, go for it. Like they like it a lot. They enjoy it a whole lot.
Yeah, I might check it out. It sounds fun. That it's just like I don't know anything about the Elder Scrolls. Same with Final Fantasy. Like
Yeah, get as much free gaming value as you can out of your games. The same principle still applies, especially in this modern age. If they're going to give you free trials or incentives to just keep playing, I like the additional challenge of it's like, well, how much game can I get out of this without giving you guys any money?
I mean, I kinda did that when I had the Xbox Game Pass on my end. I ended up
Yeah.
playing through the whole Yakuza series in 1 month.
Yeah,
That
that's the
was
ticket right there.
fun. That was fun because at the beginning on the Game Pass when I got it, I only had from 0 to Kiwami 2, so I needed to wait a few months for the other games, right? And when the other games released, I had just 1 month left of the Game Pass, so I just speedrun the living hell out of it.
Ooh.
It was a fun experience, I'll tell you that. That's why I'm kind of sure of playing it on stream, because if I can speedrun the living hell out of these games and still have a lot of fun and tears on my eyes every time I play some of these games, yeah. I can play these games on stream no problem without slugging it out.
Like re-experiencing the story is fun. I replayed the most recent expansion pack of Final Fantasy XIV on stream over a couple of weeks on alt. And I did the story again, and it was really nice to have that recorded and to have my reactions and have my friends in chat yelling things about their thoughts about the story too, because they'd already played. And I think, and of course, the ending of any Final Fantasy XIV's expansion is going to be peak drama, and everybody's crying and yelling and pumping their fist in excitement and all that. But one thing I think, sort of related, just RPGs in general. If you're streaming an RPG, and I haven't really mastered doing this myself, but it's hard to make it exciting unless you make the run itself, make it exciting for the viewer, make it be risky, take chances, make the viewers wonder if you yourself will succeed at the challenges. Because I remember watching a World of Warcraft streamer who's now become a bigger streamer. He plays other games, and he's been playing through the various pixel remasters for Final Fantasy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I would have thought that it'd be incredibly boring to watch someone play through the original Final Fantasy, because there's not a lot of story, just have 4 dudes and just fighting monsters. But he played so underleveled, so undergeared, and so just flying by the seat of his pants, not recovering, not being cautious. Everybody in chat just grabbed on the seat of their pants, going, "Oh my god, is he gonna die? Oh my god!" It was.
Yeah, the stakes are high.
Peak.
Yeah, the stakes
peak
are
entertainment.
High. Yeah.
make your stakes high if you can. Don't overlevel. Throw yourself at it. Show off your strategy. Give yourself time for those cool, yeah, we did it moments.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think, speaking of those, we did it moments. I've been playing a little indie game called Steam War Haste. And that game is full of those. This is a kind of a strategy game that you need to plan out your movement and your gunshots.
Oh, I think I've heard of that.
And you need to kind of plan out, depending on where your team is positioned, where the enemy's at, how long of a range you have, what your characters do, because they have special abilities to either move around, do more damage, or to just snipe people out. So you also need to play with the environment, can I do a ricochet from this wall to the roof, or stuff like that. And you have obviously cover for the characters so they don't get shot at. And it's a pretty interesting game. If you like strategy games like that, like turn-based RPGs, that's the game to go. It's
you can throw me if you can throw me a link to that when you're done, because I think I might know what you're talking about, but it might be a different game too, and that sounds really interesting either way. I like the grid tactics RPG stuff. Those are fun.
This is a 2D grid.
Okay. Oh, cool.
It's the premise is basically you are a captain of a spaceship, right? You're a steambot. So the main thing of the story is basically you're fighting other types of robots along the way. Ones are just scrap parts of other robots, put it all together in this zombie-like, but they have sentience. They move and strategize based on what they do. Then after you defeat the actual main threat of that specific faction, you go to the next one, which it's basically fueled powered robots, like diesel powered robots. And after and after you defeat them, you go to fight an alien race of electric powered robots.
That's escalation there.
Yeah, the escalation and the stakes are really going up and up. It's kind of insane. I love it.
That sounds
from just scrapyard type robots to quote unquote royal type of robots with the diesel ones to alien races with the electric ones. It's super interesting. The weapons get better and better on how long you go. Of course, the the diesel side of the weapons are way better than the scrap ones. Same with the alien ones, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And you get
So do you like have tech trees along the way that you evolve, or do you take parts from the ones you defeat and incorporate into your own team, or how does that work?
The thing is, as long as you progress on the story, you will get like spots that don't have combat in them, but they have like interactions with them. They have, of course, an NPC or two that continue the story, a shopkeeper for buying weapons or expansions for the inventory, and then you have a few crew members lying around there.
Okay.
You have, of course, other like crew members that are scattered around like for story purposes or just scattered around because they are there. And for those, you either need reputation, which is basically how good you do on the levels. You get like a different score from 1 to 3 or 4 stars.
Okay.
And depending on how many stars you have, you can get them for free, or you need more stars to get them.
Alright.
Others use a currency that is water. Well, because they're steambots, they need water. So you use water to contract them. And others simply just are for free. Just because they want to be on your crew or they need something. And you can give them to them.
Okay.
And every single one of them has different abilities or different functions. Like, you have sharpshooters, you have people that move a lot, but they don't do that much damage unless they are close range or the enemy is looking back at them. It's like flankers and stuff like that. You need to plan out what you have on your team. It's super interesting and it's very fun. Like, having ricochet bullets and hitting enemies on the back, getting extra damage because they are technically on the back, they're getting backstabbed by a bullet. It's so good.
Oh, nice. I'm gonna have to ask you for like a link to the Steam page or something. I want to check that out. At the very least, throw it on my wish list. Grab it when it comes on sale and give it a look.
It's a small indie game, so I believe in a good sale is going to be super cheap, and I will actually. If I had the opportunity, I would grab it again. it's really good.
Like I want to. Every time I hear someone say small indie game, I'm like, I have to stop. Is it actually a small indie game, or are we being sarcastic about some large company like being a bunch of dicks? It's like
no, it's.
I hear people use it's a small indie game so much sarcastically these days.
I know, right? Like it lost the purpose of saying small indie game. Like, yeah, this is an actual indie game. I can assure that. It's a small
real
series.
Deal.
It's a small series.
There we go. The real thing.
It's a small experimental series because the first 2 games were just like a digging mining type of thing. Like you go down exploring the earth, collecting minerals and stuff to either get a better stuff on the town or get the town better.
Okay.
And then the third game is this one, Still War Haze, that it's basically the Earth exploded, and we have like different factions going around space. The Earth
exploded. We can't dig anymore. Sorry, guys. We got to do something else now.
And they're working on a 4th game that is literally SimCity. Like you have this little father and daughter on a farm. And they want to go to the stars. So what they do is literally just build a town with that they use the resources and they just expand the town and stuff like that to build a rocket to go to the stars.
Nice.
That's at least what I got on the work in progress trailer. That's awesome.
That sounds really interesting. I'm gonna have to check all that out. Throw that on my wish list and give it a pass. Cause like many good games. So many games out there. Cool.
Yeah, so many indie games that are really really good. But yeah. And I think we have enough time for today. Do you have anyone you would like to rate?
Let me actually check to see if any of my friends are up to something here. I think... Oh, there's a Cenarius Den guy. Oh, wait a second. Actually, no, I don't have nobody that I know in particular is on right now. So it's up to you. It's up to you where we want to go.
Okay, I have Victor Fox playing Skyrim, special
Sounds
edition
good.
specifically.
Ah.
Rooftop Nuna, that is, I think, making food on stream.
Oh yeah, I'm getting lunch. I'm getting lunch as soon as I'm done here. You should probably, if you just
Yeah.
woke up when we started, you should get yourself some breakfast or something too.
Either that or I'm going to get back to sleep because later
That
I
is
need to
that is
do
also
some
a
chores.
valid option.
I'm
One
going
of
to.
the best things to do on a weekend.
Oh, honestly. Then we
Sleep.
have Dandy Floss doing crafting stuff on hand cams, which is really
Ooh,
good.
Dandy Floss. Let's go see Dandy Floss.
Okay, let's go with Dandy.
All right.
Oh, Terry's also playing 14. That's what I was about to say. So, okay. Oh, they're doing one of these like construct your own things type of thing. Hold on.
Oh, cool.
Okay. Okay, we're going to rate Dandyfloss now. So, thank Len for being here. Thank for accepting being back here.
Thank you again for having me. It is always fun. We always find interesting things to talk about.
Honestly, yeah, this was really good. But yeah, we are going to rate Dandyfloss at the moment. They are doing some crafting, like with handcam and stuff. There are a lot of handcam streams lately, like today specifically, which is weird. But also,
I remember a little while back, she showed off her rock collection. That was pretty. Like, well, once you've got a ham can set up, you might as well use it, right? That's why I've got to get some lunch. Then I'm going to start working on my own.
Oh,
there we go.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, be seeing you guys next week. Again, thank you, Len, for being here. If you want their socials, the command is !TG to get the socials for Lamp. And ! GPL for the playlist. I'll be seeing you guys next week. Later.
Bye.